very exciting day, but also very scary because I'm embarking on my first reading challenge. I was going to make this a 24-hour reading challenge, but it is already 2 o'clock and I haven't started. And I feel like it'll end up taking 3 days. So what we're doing is 3 recent book releases in 3 days. So this is what I'm reading. If you're new here, my name is Gabrielle and I do bookish and lifestyle content here on YouTube, TikTok and Instagram. And I'm also an aspiring author. So I think I'm going to start with A Fate, Fortune and Fire. I have been waiting for this release for, it feels like, forever. And I'm so excited to read this. This is Hazel McBride's debut novel. She wrote other things, but this is the first traditionally published book that she's got, and it sounds incredible. The vibes of this book are as follows. We have some Celtic Scottish culture. I've already looked at the beginning of this book and there's a pronunciation guide, so a lot of the language used is based on Scottish Gaelic. We're going to have dragons, so I think there's a kind of base of similar vibes to House of the Dragon, which I haven't watched, but I can understand the vibes that we're going for. I believe the main character is bi-curious, but it is a romantasy, so I have avoided spoilers, so I'm intrigued to see if we have a romance between 2 females or a female and a male, because the main character is female, and she's called Amira. She's also got red hair, so that's so Scottish. I believe this book is just under 400 pages, yes, so 397 pages, so not too big, but also not that small. I also have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, another release that I have been so excited for. As usual, I have avoided spoilers like the plague, so I know literally nothing about this book, but I believe it's going to be similar to her last duology, where it was a gothic fantasy. However, beyond that, I am glad to go into this blind. I went into the Shepherd King duology blind and I had no regrets. It was literally a great time. So I want to do the same with this. I want to make a guess that this is going to be bodyguard trope. I don't know what about this book is giving me bodyguard trope, but it is. I'm intrigued to see if I'm right, so we'll find out by the end of this video if I'm right or not, but the cover is absolutely stunning, and I got the Waterstones special edition, so it's got the cute sprayed edges. So I'm really looking forward to reading this as well. I believe this is just under 400 pages as well. 385 for this one. Just looking on my phone because I currently don't know where my Kindle is. The last one I'm going to read is on my Kindle. This one got released at the end of April, so not as new as these ones. However, I am very intrigued to read it, and it's been on my list for a while and I just didn't get a chance to read it when it first came out. So this one is The Voice of the Ocean. The cover drew me in straight away. This cover is one of the most beautiful covers that I've ever seen. And this is a Little Mermaid retelling, which immediately I'm intrigued, because if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with mermaids. I'm literally in the process of writing a mermaid book. And that was enough to draw me in. I literally saw the cover, went, that's perfection, and then found out it was a Little Mermaid retelling, and I was immediately on board. 442 pages. So slightly longer than these two, but I'm hoping that I can get through it. I just need to get in a good rhythm. So that is the lineup for the next 3 days. It is officially 3 days until the end of the month. So that's the main reason I'm doing this. I want to get all of these reads within May, because I've had a wee bit of a slump of a month and I feel this is going to bulk me up and break me out of this kind of reading slump I've been in, where I'm just going to sit and force myself to read. So that is the plan. Let's get coffee and let's get started. Okay, I'm all set up. I'm on the corner couch because this is where the serious reading happens. It is also raining, so I feel like this is really good reading vibes. I've got my book ready. I'm deciding to keep the dust jacket on. And my bookmark for this book, because I try my best. Actually, I have quite a lot of bookmarks, but I don't have a huge amount. This was sent to me from the Good Girls book club, and I feel like the purple matches the vibes of this book perfectly. I also have my Kindle because just in case I'm struggling with the hardback, I potentially might download the book onto my Kindle. I also have my coffee. As usual, we have a vanilla latte, an iced vanilla latte to be specific. There's just nothing that hits better than an iced vanilla latte. Okay, it has been an hour. I am on I've just hit chapter 6 and I've read 54 pages. I'm very intrigued by the storyline. It is basically the world that we're in started as a matriarchal structure, so it was all about queens and women held a lot of the power and were very respected, and then something happened which I might have missed in this, but something happened and basically the royal line only produced male heirs from that point. With it only being males, dragons died out because there wasn't powerful women within the royal line to keep the dragons alive. So now there's only a few dragons left in this world, and they are bonded to the current king and his sons. So a lot of people in this world, like the main character, worship the goddess. Their religion again is very much women are very respected and very worshipped by everyone, and basically there is a new religion that has started to take over, where it's kind of patriarchal, and those people believe that a woman's value is placed in their womb and as a wife, and more people are converting over to this new religion. And our main character is very headstrong and she doesn't want this to happen, and she believes in the old ways and she believes in the goddess, and she wants a queen back on the throne. I can already tell that I'm going to love Amira, who is the main character. She is my typical main character that I love, very sure of herself, very headstrong, very strong in her beliefs, and I'm excited to see where this will go. I believe at this point that I've met the love interest, but I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong, but I believe that we did get the love interest that is going to come up later. So I'm 13% of the way through and it is currently 3:45. I am going out tonight at 7, so that gives me another 3 hours of reading time, which is loads. So I think I'm going to get myself a little bit more comfortable, get a blanket and things, because it's a little bit chilly. Also, speaking of weather and the temperature, it is actually so funny how obviously this book is set in a kind of fantasy version of Scotland. The language is very Scottish. I feel like people might struggle with the pronunciation with a lot of these phrases. There is a pronunciation guide at the start, but I do think some people might struggle. But I'm also really appreciative of the fact that Scottish Gaelic has remained true to, Hazel has remained true to Scottish Gaelic in this and not changed it to make it easier for people. It is a dying language and I'm Scottish and I don't speak it, so it is really important to have respect for that, and I like how she's done it in here, although I do think people are going to struggle. Back to what I was saying about the weather, it was raining. It was raining. It was lashing it down, as we would say. Since it's raining currently, I felt really in the vibe. So it's giving all the Scottish vibes so far, and I'm intrigued to see what other snippets of Scottish culture that we're going to get throughout the book. Okay, now I'm fairly certain that we have met the love interest. I'm already a little bit giddy about the first scene that we have the two of them properly in. Bear with. He just said, "I assure you, I have no qualms about roughing it." I really can't see where this is going to go. I guess that's a good thing. I understand the aim of the main character, but I'm unaware of how we're going to go about getting there. I mean, we're only on chapter 7, there's plenty of groundwork to be done, but I want to think in my head what could possibly happen and what could make our main character fall for this MMC. Because right now, it's enemies to lovers. Like, it's giving enemies, and I'm not seeing the way to lovers. I want to be shown the way. Show me the way, Hazel, show me the way. I'm gonna set a timer on my phone for 2 hours because that takes us to 6:30, and I'm going out at 7. So let's start a timer and we shall see how we get on so that I don't need to come out of this world. I'm just gonna get stuck in. I am now about 40% of the way through. My timer has just went off. I think I'm gonna stop because my eyes are a little bit sore from staring at pages for ages. Pages for ages? That was not intentional. But so far, I'm enjoying it. It seemed to have escalated really quickly. We went from 0 to 100 literally in the first 25%. There's been a development which I am happy that it's been made. I could kind of see this development coming. It's not unsatisfying that I could see it coming. I wanted it to happen, and I feel like things are going to ramp up even more. Having a great time, and I'm going to go for dinner, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to read more this evening. I don't know how this is going to look because it's literally so dark now, but I'm just back from dinner. I'm in my pyjamas. I'm feeling all nice and cozy. I have just left my reading set up and I'm going to get back to that tomorrow, but we're going to get set up in bed and I'm going to continue reading because it's 10:30 and I feel like I could probably read till midnight and that will get another good chunk of this book finished. We're getting there. I'm feeling accomplished. I think I'm gonna read for another hour or so, and then I've set my alarm for 8:30. To a lot of you that'll be like really late, but I'm not a morning person. Never have been, probably never will be. So 8:30 I'm gonna get up and it's gonna be straight back into it because I want to finish this book tomorrow morning, hopefully. So I'll see you in the morning. I think it's going to need to be a 2 coffee kind of day today. I'm so tired. After I left you last night, I got to 50% of the way through. We have a lot to be doing today. I really ideally want to be finished this A Fate Forged in Fire this morning. Whether or not I'm going to be able to do that, I don't know. It's 9:30 just now. No, it's 9:20. So ideally I want to start at 9:30 and read until 12, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, say 12:30. That's 3 hours. So let's see how much I can get done. So I'm back in prime position. She loves it when I sit and read, don't you? Because then you just get lots of cuddles. She's my little reading buddy. I have my coffee. It's time to read. I think I did about 4 hours reading yesterday. Maybe it was just less than that, maybe like 3.5. I feel like today I'm going to put a timer on. It's nearly 10 o'clock and I still haven't started. I said I wanted to start at 9:30, but I was like I should probably eat and make a coffee and get Daphne up before I start this. I'm going to put a timer on, like a stopwatch, so that I can see how long I'm reading. So I'm going to pop this on now and we're going to read. I forgot to say last night we came to like a a part in this book where it makes more sense how it's going to be enemies to lovers. Honestly, I'm so glad that I didn't see any spoilers for this book, because it is so good just reading this whole book, not really knowing what is going to happen, what the tropes are. I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. It's been fantastic. Oh, this girl. Wow. I am giggling, kicking my feet at this book. I have literally less than 100 pages left. So that's me nearly been reading for 2 hours, and I actually don't know what page I started on. I probably should have checked that. But I am 80% of the way through. I am giggling and kicking my feet. I love this. I love them so much. I'm obsessed. I don't want it to be over. I'm having such a great time. Like, I'm intrigued to see how it's going to end. I feel like I have a feeling on how it's going to end. I'm going to take a quick break and then I'm coming back. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it. Oh my god. I was suspecting something like that was going to happen, but oh my god. I'm shook. I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. The devastation in me that this is over and I'm not going to get to read the next one. Daphne, I can't cope. Okay, I'm taking a break and then we're going on to the next one. I can't actually believe that. We're going to have a quick debrief before we start the second book. This book is literal perfection. I have got 6-star feelings, literally. I have been waiting for a book to give me these vibes for a while. Considering the book slump that I have been in this month, I was in desperate need of something like this. I love the world that we're in. I love the use of Scottish culture throughout. It made me feel almost like at home in a weird sense. I loved it. I loved our main character. She goes through such a whirlwind of character development throughout this, and you can really like see the different things changing her decisions throughout. I loved MMC. I was absolutely shook at the ending. It was action-packed. I never thought that there was like a dull moment throughout this entire book. My only qualm with this book was they were using years that were very similar to like years in real life. So like 1833 or 1745. They were using those types of years, which was kind of throwing me off because it was definitely very like old world Scotland that we were set in. And those years were kind of throwing me off. I was like, am I meant to see those worlds as a representation of the world that we're, like, that I'm in, this real world? Or is it different in this world? If that makes sense? That was the only thing throwing me off. I'm assuming that it's just within this fantasy world and perhaps I maybe just missed an explanation. I also loved how the author didn't shy away from using the Gaelic language. And also religion has a really big play in this book because it's basically 2 religions clashing, which is again reminiscent a lot of actual Scottish history. So it was a huge triumph, I think, for debut novel, and I am so excited to read the next one, whenever that may be. It took me about 3 hours 20 minutes to finish the rest of that book, so about 50%. So I'm gauging that it probably took me almost 7 hours to finish that book, which I think is pretty good. So next we're moving on to The Night and the Moth. Again, another one I'm so excited about. I have really high hopes for this. Really high hopes. And again, I'm going into it basically completely blind. I'm going to get set up and we're going to start reading this one now. And we're back in prime position. I just had to take a little extended break, didn't we, Daphne? So we're going to start The Night in the Moth. This literally just came through the door, but I got a bookmark sent to me from a cute little bookish business, and it's Morley Grey is my favourite colour, and I think that this just fits in so well with the theme of this book, so I'm using it straight away. We're still on 3 hours 19 minutes, so I'm just going to start that now and we're going to crack on. One chapter in, we're already thrown into it. I feel that we've already met the main character, and Rachel Gillig is a fan of a strong nose. I remember that from Raven in the Shaper King duology. We're already similar vibes. The world building in her books is so like gothic in its own right. Like I can really feel like where we are and the setting, and I'm already having a great time. I'm just taking a little 5-minute break from reading and my head is so sore, but I need to power through. I think it's just because the text on hardbacks I feel are quite small, but I'm about 20-ish% through the book so far. I love the male main character. I'm actually like really intrigued because the world is like very like gothic and whimsical and very similar to the world in Shaper King duology. There's like a whole like kind of belief system to do with like bad omens and luck and things like that, but like I like how it's that kind of world, but like the actual characters, like you can really relate to them. Like you can relate to every single character that's in here, which is what is so good about Rachel Gillig's writing. Like although the world is so unique and like magical and dark, you can still like relate to the characters themselves. So I'm really enjoying the main character. I'm really enjoying the MMC, and the MMC is a knight, of course, so that also really intrigues me. I'm excited to keep going. Okay, so I'm now 30% of the way through. I'm just going to stop for dinner time and then I'll probably read some more this evening. I have been reading for, I don't know how I was going to do a 24-hour reading challenge because I've been reading for 5 hours and 42 minutes today, and my eyes are like, I need a rest, I need a little break. I'm gonna have a couple hours break and then how much I can get done tonight, but I'm really enjoying it so far. I feel like we're just getting into the whole action. I'm enjoying it. It's going good. So yesterday I read for, oh sugar, no, I just lost it. No, that was a panic. I read for 6 hours and 34 minutes. If this was a 24-hour reading challenge, that was significantly less. I think the day before I probably read for about almost 4 hours, call it 4 hours, and then that's 10.5 hours so far. And I finished one book and I got to 45% of the way through Night in the Moth, so I think that's pretty good. If worse comes to worse, I've got all day today, even night time, so I can binge a lot of the book today and hopefully finish The Night in the Moth and then start on A Voice of the Ocean. But worst comes to worst, I'm going to give myself until tomorrow afternoon because technically I didn't start until 3 o'clock on Wednesday, so technically 3 days finishes tomorrow. So I'm going to use that as like a little bit of a leeway for me. But I'm going to make my coffee and start now. Also, I have decided that it's going to be a pajamas, no makeup day today because when was the last time I did a pajama day? Who knows? Okay, so I've just been reading for about an hour. I'm over halfway. Don't know if you can see that, but I'm over halfway I'm loving every minute of this. The world building that Rachel Gillig does is just like so easy to imagine, and it's like so vivid. And I don't know what it is about this book, but I'm getting very similar vibes to Once Upon a Broken Heart. I think it's because in Once Upon a Broken Heart we've got like the fates, all the different fates. In this book we've got different omens, which are a similar concept. It's very, very different to Once Upon a Broken Heart, but it is very, like when I'm reading it I feel very reminiscent of like the different fates that are in Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I'm loving it, and I'm loving the whole knight concept. It's all about like valor and like virtue. I'm loving that, and I love the male main character. Like I love it. Like it's having me like kicking, screaming, giggling. Like I'm loving the dynamic between the main character and the male main character. And I'm also so happy that this is going to be a duology, because I couldn't imagine just reading this and then it being all over. I'm literally obsessed. Oh my god, I'm absolutely living for these two. We are making progress. I am about 88% of the way through the book, and I don't want it to end. I really don't want to finish it. Oh, it's just perfection. The tension and banter between the two main characters I am loving for. And I love, there's a gargoyle in it, and I just love him so much. Like, I can't imagine the story without the gargoyle being in it. He's just adorable, and he just breaks the tension with some comedy. So I'm happy about that. I've just hit 8 hours 43 minutes since yesterday, so really I haven't been reading for that long. Well, I'm definitely less than 100 pages now. I think I'm maybe about 50 pages left. No, probably less than that. I think I'm about 30 to 40 pages left. I don't want it to end. I don't want it to be over. This has been so good. Can you imagine a reading challenge where I'm basically going to be having 5-star books 2 in a row? I don't want to speak so soon, but it's giving me 5-star feelings, and I'm having an excellent time, but I need to stop right now because I'm starving and I need lunch. I don't know what I'm going to have, but I need to take a little break. What the fuck? What? Oh my god. Okay, I'm putting my glasses back on because I just feel like I look a bit better with them on. But it's time for a debrief. Rachel Gillig literally follows no rules. She just lives in her own world, and it's perfection. I want to be in her brain. The way her books like literally follow no like similar romantasy structure at all. Like you can never guess what is going to happen. You're just as clueless as the main character throughout the entirety of her books. I'm always shook at the way she throws us and the way everything comes together. I was like getting to the end of this book and I was like, do you know what? I feel like we're wrapping up. How are we going to go into a duology? Like I don't know what's going to happen to make a second book. And the ending, I'm thrown. I'm in utter shock. Another 6-star read. Another 6-star read. And the characters in here are so vibrant. I felt like really connected to every single one of the characters in this book, and it's not often that I feel like that. How was such a beautiful romance story able to go along with an epic plot? I have no idea. She's an absolute mastermind. Literally, Rachel Gillig is up there in my top tier romantasy authors ever. Like, I can't believe it. We're now on to our last and final book, which is The Voice of the Ocean, or just Voice of the Ocean. It's just Voice of the Ocean. And this one I'm reading on Kindle. I've also just been sent these strapsicles. I am literally obsessed. I am not a pop socket girly, but look at this. Look! It's just attached to my hand. I'm reading this one on Kindle. I don't know if that's going to make it go faster or not. I have put on the font I'm using is Open Dyslexic, so it looks a little bit like that. And apparently you can read quicker with that font on, so I've got that font on. The amount of pages are, I think it's about 440 pages, so a bit longer than the other ones that we've had, but I feel like I might be able to read quicker on my Kindle, or I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to read quicker on my Kindle, so that is what we're going to start shortly. It is currently 3:20, so I think I could finish it today if I put my head down and really get on with it. I think all in all, for those two books, based on my timer, I think it took me about 14 hours, so about 7 hours a book. So if it's 7 hours, it seems like it's going to take me about 7.5 hours to read a 440 page book. So I think we should put it to the test. I'm going to cancel this timer and then I'm going to start another one. How long it takes me to read this on Kindle. And then that'll be a good little stat to have at the end of this video. As I said, Voice of the Ocean is a Little Mermaid retelling. And beyond that, I do not know much. So I'm just going to throw myself into it and see how we get on. But I feel like I should maybe make another coffee, then get started. I'm going to go back to the reading setup. That reading setup was pretty comfy. I'm also going to get my reading cushion out in case I don't want to hold my Kindle anymore. I've got my little remote in here, so I'm going to get that out as well. And I've got my new strapsicles, and I feel like I'm very prepared for a Kindle setup reading experience now. I'm currently very proud of myself because 15 hours of reading is actually not as long as like I was planning to read. If I can read 3 books in 24 hours, that is a triumph. That's a triumph to me. Shocker, I'm back in location again. I am literally just about to get started on Voice of the Ocean. I made my coffee. I spared you because how many times can you really watch me make a coffee at this rate? Can you hear this rain? There's already a bit of an ambience happening outside. I'm going to put my timer on, you know, just as my little experiment. I'm actually a bit nervous to like start my 3rd book in 3 days. Like, I've never done anything like this before. I'm like, can I do it? Of course I can. Gabrielle, you can do it. So we're diving in, right? Let's start. Okay, I'm 1 chapter in. I literally feel like I'm reading The Little Mermaid at this point. It's very like the scene in The Little Mermaid when she sees Eric on the ship for the first time. However, you can see that there's a bit of a fantasy element. I think there's a lot of importance put on song in Sirens, so they use their song as weapons, as healers, as basically tools for themselves. I wish I got that on camera, but like, I also don't wish I got it on camera because my camera would be dead, but I literally fell asleep. And I think I've been asleep for like an hour, and I was literally mid-chapter. But I do feel a bit better now that I've slept. I even have my coffee still here. There's still ice in it, thank goodness. But I got to literally 10%. Oh my god! I've just cut myself an hour out of my time. We've just paused for some Daphne cuddles. I am nearly 30% of the way through, and I'm happy with where it's going. Like, I'm really happy with where it's going. I really like the prince in it, and I like the main character, but I feel like she's got a bit of development to go through. It's going good. I'm happy. It's not exactly the same as The Little Mermaid. I think I'm going to stop and get dinner, and then continue this evening. It's a pretty easy read.
It's a pretty easy read. I don't think it should take me that long. I feel like I've got a lot of reading done. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I think that nap did me great, you know. I think it was definitely needed. So yeah, we're going to get up and get dinner. I've now switched my cushion because this is like the most comfy reading setup ever, and I just click away. So I'm 31% in, and I'm actually really loving it. Like, really loving it. I love the prince. He's literally my favourite character so far. We've only gone and done it. I finished Voice of the Ocean last night. I didn't film anymore because I was in the zone. I was determined to finish this book, and do you know what? It was good. The ending kind of fell a little bit flat for me. I wasn't expecting a cliffhanger. I'm pretty sure I said at the start of this video that I thought it was a standalone, but I clearly, because I go into every book blind, I just don't know that. I don't know anything about the book before I go in, so the cliffhanger was kind of like a cliffhanger but also a resolution, so it was kind of like over and you felt okay, but also there was more that needs to happen, if that makes sense. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed just binging this whole book. I really enjoyed the pacing. I felt like a lot was happening. I loved the romance, and it wasn't exactly like The Little Mermaid. Obviously there was just elements taken from that story, but overall the concept was really cool, and I will definitely read the next one when it comes out because I really loved the male main character as well. I feel like this entire reading vlog, the male main characters have been hitting. So yeah, I'm actually really proud of myself. I did finish at 1 o'clock in the morning, so technically it has fallen over to today. But because there was a night of sleep in between there, it was yesterday. Technically. I'm going to count it in my May reading wrap up. I had a fantastic time doing this reading vlog. A few things that I've learned. Endurance reading is not for the faint of heart. I was very tired for a lot of this reading vlog. I think overall I ended up reading for about 23 hours, which is basically a 24-hour reading vlog, so I know I can read 3 books in 24 hours. I might give a 24-hour reading vlog a go next time, but I feel like I want to do more of this binge reading because I love just binge reading books because you can really like get invested in them, and I feel like I'm out of my reading slump, which is incredible. Who knows what I filmed, but if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.